Hey guys, and as usual here in Trondheim, the weather is terrible. A rainstorm just started now, but fortunately, I'm on my way to Oslo to give this car back, the 2017 Volvo XC90 T8 R design, and then I'm flying back to Bergen later tonight. So it's gonna be a long day, gonna be a long drive, but today I'm gonna give you guys my full review, my final thoughts on this car. So hope you guys enjoy. Fortunately guys, I'm on my way away from this terrible weather. 8 degrees, rainstorm. I'm on my way to Oslo where the weather is much better, sunny and 22-23 degrees centigrade. And then I'm going to Bergen, which will have summer weather for the rest of the week. But back to the car. So this is the T8. For you guys who don't know what a T8 is, it's the range topper, 407 horsepower, 2.3 tons, and it's actually a hybrid. So up front we have a 4-cylinder 2-liter motor with a supercharger and a turbocharger, 320 horsepower. Out rear, an electric motor with 87 horsepower, which gives you 407 horsepower combined and 485 foot-pounds of torque. And this car is no slouch. 0 to 60 is in around 5 seconds, so it's really quick, picks up speed really well. And I actually downloaded an app last week and tested it and managed to clock a 0 to 60 time of 4.7 seconds. I don't know how accurate that app is, but my god, this car, there's no doubt in my mind that this is a 5 or a sub 5 second 0 to 60 time car. This is my 7th and final video on this T8. At the end of the day, I would have had it for 1.5 weeks and driven 2,000 kilometers. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos on it, please go ahead, check out my channel. I go through details like interior, exterior, Sense's infotainment system, the best and worst, and I explain the T8 drivetrain more in detail. So this powertrain is really powerful. There we have a gap, blink to the left, mash the throttle, and we're past in no time at all. This thing just picks up speed really quickly on trips like this, long trips on 2-lane country roads. This is the perfect car because passing is no problem. You can do it safely and quickly. A lot of you guys are probably wondering about the fuel consumption on this large SUV. So for the past 1.5 weeks, the fuel consumption has been around 23-24 miles to the gallon, or about 10 liters per 100 kilometers. And to be frank, a 2.3 ton SUV with 407 horsepower and 7 seats, that's not bad at all. Actually, that's quite impressive. But what's more impressive, I actually tried an economy run on this car, did about 90-95 kilometers. I have some footage from my phone here, but I managed to get 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers, or 36 miles to the gallon, and that's really impressive in a huge SUV like this. So if you want to drive it economical, it's really possible. And you can also just plug it into the wall, 2.5 hours to a full charge on 240 volts and get 20 kilometers of range using 0 fuel. With the technical and boring stuff now out of the way, you guys are probably wondering, how does this hybrid drivetrain actually work in the real world? And a few negatives out of the way first. These are just nitpicks, to be perfectly honest. But first off, it's this 4-cylinder engine. When revved out, it can get a bit noisy. So I wish they just sound deadened the engine bay just a bit better, because when you're running in hybrid or pure electric mode, this car is so silent, so quiet. And this is equipped with double laminated glass windows, and the character of the car most of the time is just really quiet. So it's just when you rev it out, give it the full enchilada, that it gets a bit noisy. Second thing is when you pull up to a stoplight, when you have very little electricity left in the system, it will run the gas engine just a bit too long, meaning you do get this jerking motion when you pull up to a stoplight. So not the most refined, but I only experienced that a handful of times in my 1.5 week of testing. But the positives, and there are many. First off, this 4-cylinder engine actually sounds quite good in my opinion. So it's not a penalty. Sure, a V6 or an 8-cylinder engine would be nicer, but this is perfectly livable. Most of the people won't even notice or think about it because it's actually quite nice sounding. And the shove, the power, this makes every inch of that 407 horsepower. If anything, I think it's actually underrated because the way this car picks up speed and accelerates is just stupid and dumb. I find myself laughing every time I rev the thing out because it's 2.3 tons of 5-meter long, 7-seat luxury SUV getting out of its way quicker than should be possible. The last time I drove something that was this quick and this big was a BMW X6M, and once I rode in a Porsche Cayenne Turbo S, which is also stupidly quick, but this car is even bigger than those SUVs, and this has 7 seats. It's not as quick, but my god, does this thing pick up speed. .99% of the time, this drivetrain is super smooth, super quiet, extremely refined. 99% of the time. As I talked about, the gas engine can get a bit noisy when revved out. But like now, pulling to a stop because there is construction on the road here, it's dead silent. Running on pure battery or in hybrid mode with really low revs, this is a super refined powertrain. And the way it works together is so seamless, you barely notice it. It's only when you have the stereo turned off and you really listen that in city or day-to-day driving you can hear it switching back and forth because there are no vibrations through the steering wheel, through the seat, or through the gear lever. It's really impressive actually. One of the weak points of this car is the size of the fuel tank. It's unfortunately smaller than on the ordinary diesels and gas versions. It's only 13 gallons or 50 liters, meaning that with a little more than a quarter of a tank left, I have 190 kilometers left of range. But that's because I've been driving quite economical. As you can see, they're 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers, which is about 28 miles to the gallon. So quite economical. I've been doing a lot of passing on these 2-lane roads, so that's not that bad of a fuel economy. But I have about 314 kilometers left to Oslo, and that means I have to fill up the tank, which can be quite annoying because as on a diesel XC90, you can maybe go 1,000 or 1,200 kilometers in one tank. Here you're lucky if you get 650 kilometers. Because the gas was so expensive here and will be much cheaper in Oslo, at least cheaper in Oslo, I didn't fill up a full tank. So it filled up about 20 liters, now I have 390 kilometers of range left. Should give me enough gas to get to Oslo. Just arrived in Oslo, and a quick update on the fuel consumption. So 505 kilometers driven, a bit over 300 miles, and the fuel consumption is 7.7 liters per 100 kilometers, or just above 30 miles to the gallon. And that's not bad at all, because the first half of the trip I did do a lot of passing and overtaking, But then, you know, the traffic settled in and there wasn't a lot of cars. But still, 7.7 liters, or just above 30 miles to the gallon, is very good for a 2.3 ton SUV with more than 400 horsepower. Finally in Oslo, navigating my way through the streets, broken pavement, tram lines, cobblestone covered streets, and this is where this XC90 on air suspension really shines. Though it's equipped with big wheels, there is still enough rubber to give this car a nice ride. The air suspension soaks up most of the bumps, the tires do a good job, but it has something to do with the low center of gravity in this car, which just makes it feel more planted and more solid than a traditional diesel or gasoline powered XC90, and that's really impressive. And also on the open road, that low center gravity gives this car really nice dynamic. You find a real nice rhythm with this car from corner to corner. It keeps the body roll to a minimum, the air suspension, but also that lower center of gravity. Just like in a Tesla, inherently the center of gravity makes the car handle better than an equivalent gasoline or diesel powered version. So just parked up here in this posh neighborhood in Oslo West to show you guys the beautiful exterior styling of the XC90. No doubt this is one of the prettiest and best looking SUVs on the market today. The proportions are beautiful, classic SUV proportions, not trying to look like a big station wagon or anything. The front is very elegant, very imposing, very tastefully done, even in this R design trim with the black grille and the spoiler down below. These Thorshammer LED lights are just beautiful, and look at it from the side profile. Big, imposing, looks expensive, and those gorgeous 20-inch rims. At the rear, it's traditional Volvo, simple, those draping taillights across the shoulders of the car. It just looks beautiful. I really like the look of it and think it's one of the best looking SUVs on the market today. Price point, nobody makes a better interior than this. Mercedes might come close, but nobody surpasses Volvo. Volvo are number one at the moment in interiors at their price point. The quality, the materials, the woods, the leathers, the metals, the design, everything is so well executed. The quality is so high and the design is flawless. One of the most beautiful interiors, matched by high quality. It's just really luxurious, and at this price point you can't get anything better. And in the tech department, Volvo are one of the best in the business today. There is some hard competition from Tesla, Mercedes, BMW and Audi, but take this for instance, their 9-inch Sensus TFT touchscreen infotainment system. A superb unit, works just like a touchscreen. Swipe it to the left, swipe it to the right for functions. Here you have your main menu, and then you can expand your maps here. You can also minimize it, and then you have panes here. Here you have audio, here you have phone, and so on and so forth. Super easy to use. I've done a video about this in detail. Go check that out on my channel if you haven't seen it. But this is one of the best infotainment systems in the business today. It's really easy to use. You have settings here, so on and so forth. It's really intuitive. You can start using it after a few minutes in the car. And then you have this Volvo's 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, a beautiful super high resolution screen which is easy to use, easy to read out, and then you have the map view in the middle there. But it's not only in cabin tech where Volvo are really pushing the envelope. This car has forward collision warning, autonomous braking, pilot assist 2, semi-autonomous driving, rear cross traffic alert. Volvo are one of the best in passive safety in the business today. There we are, guys, outside of Volvo in Oslo, delivering the XC90 back after 1.5 weeks and 2,000 kilometers. So what do I think about the 2017 Volvo XC90 T8 R design? Well, to be honest, I went into this review expecting nothing much of this T8 because I've driven it on 2 occasions earlier, 2 dealer demo cars, and I hated them. But this time with the XC90 T8 has made me fall in love with this car. It's one of the best cars, best luxury SUVs you can buy today, and this T8 drivetrain has really won me over. It's superbly quiet, superbly refined when just driving around town, but when you really want that power, you mash the throttle. It's really strong and really quick, and then also gets quite decent fuel economy. But you can also, being a plug-in hybrid, you can also run it on pure electricity. So in my opinion, it's a real good compromise if you can live without the sound and the refinement of a V6 or a V8. But what you get? Well, you get electric refinement at low speeds. The XC90 is one of the best looking SUVs. I've said it before and I'm saying it again. Exterior and interior, top notch. The ride is good. The interior might be perfect. The driving dynamics are really good as well. So all in all, one of the best SUVs on the market today, and at this price point I don't think you can do much better. And it's also a 7-seater plug-in hybrid, and to my knowledge there are no 7-seater plug-in hybrids in the luxury segment today. So guys, hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.